presentation of 13 ABC Action News. Now, your table is ready. Join 13 ABC's Jeff Smith with the decision makers of Northwest Ohio and Southeast Michigan. This is the Roundtable.
Well, thank you so much for spending some time with us here. Welcome to March here on the Roundtable. Once again, we are glad to have you with us. I'm Jeff Smith. Over the next half hour, we're going to spend some time talking about something that affects us all in our second segment, the weather. But in this first segment, something that affects us all as well, or at least it should, and that is the focus on trying to prevent child abuse, not only from a national scope, but also here locally. And there's been an organization, Yell and Tell, that has been doing it strong for the last decade or so. And Pam Crabtree, so glad to have. She is the president of the Yell and Tell organization, Stop Child Abuse Now. Welcome to the Roundtable. Thanks for being here.
Thank you, Jeff, for having me.
You bet. Also with us today, State Representative Teresa Fetter, and also from the Yell and Tell organization, George Hayes. Both of you, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Thank you.
As we get ready, 10 years.
Yes.
10 years
Yes.
that you guys have been doing this rally, and it comes up next month. But we wanted to start the conversation today as far as the goal. Have you guys reached your goals of trying to get awareness out there? We're going to throw some statistics at the folks out there in TV land in just a minute. But when you look at the goal you set forth early on starting this, are you reaching the goal?
We're reaching the people. We're reaching the children.
Mm-hmm.
We work in concert with many of our local organizations because we can't make enough noise that we need to protect our children.
Yeah.
That child abuse is unacceptable. Ohio rates in the top 10 of abusing our children, Jeff. And we can't have that. We've got to stop hitting the dog and kicking the kids when things get tough.
Yeah.
The economy is rough out there. Lucas County, for a little
Is
bit.
that a crutch? Is that, and I'll get Teresa in on this as well, but I feel like we have had so many, and yes, the economy has been unbelievably hard to deal with, and
Yes.
for a number of people to try to make ends meet. But that seems to be, when I invite people here to the table, the economy again and again seems to be that linchpin that people are going for. That's the reason. Why is alcohol abuse up? Why is child abuse up? All these abuses, and the economy is the thing that people go for. Is that a crutch?
Well, I think we have a problem in general. So when the economy goes down, we see spikes. And, like we are in the top 10 in the nation of child abuse. 65% of rape doesn't get reported to officials. The average rape for just teenagers is 15. And then you talk about trafficking. So, we have a problem with child abuse. It's part of our culture right now, I think, and we need to really tackle it by informing, educating, and advocating for cleaning it up.
This is one of those things, one of these events, and George obviously being on the board with Yell and Tell, and you always have those people that are civically engaged. They are going to be at that event. They are going to pass the message on, but the goal is to try to reach the people who need to have their ears turned to it. So I guess as you look at the efforts, how do you go about getting the message out, not only by using, what we're doing here today, but outside of days like today? How are you getting the message out?
Well, through education, but a lot word of mouth. You would be surprised. For instance, I run a bowling league, and I've been working with junior bowlers 8 months out of the year for the last 30. And we talk about it a lot. We go to a huge tournament once a year, Easter weekend. It's out of town. So just over the last 4 weeks, and I'm on the mic all the time at the bowling alley, they hate it. So I tell the parents, grandparents, and guardians, when we go out of town, no matter where we go, watch your kids. Do not let them roam around, because they know I'm on the board of child abuse, and we do things. And so we try to instill in the parents and grandparents and guardians. But I would say my group, my grown-ups, they're pretty sharp. They're great. They watch their kids. I don't have to, but I still do, because I treat them like they're mine. But we get the word out through education. We were at the Mud Hens game this past season, along with the Lucas County Sheriff deputies, fingerprinting. And you would be surprised the number of people that came up to us telling us their stories or wanting to know more about it, and they got these coloring books. So we're getting the word out, but it's still a work in progress.
I want to talk about those more in just a second, but we were watching some video there. We were showing some video of last year's event. UT head football coach Matt Campbell, one of your speakers there last year. And this year there's a bit of a nuance. And you were talking about the bowling league. Athletics is coming into play this year. Tell folks what the idea was for getting more involvement.
We decided to roll out a sports program at the rally. It's going to be held April 7th at 1 p.m. at the Franciscan Center on the campus of Lourdes University. We feel that by focusing on sports, it'll help children gain some camaraderie, ownership, discipline, keep them busy.
Yeah. But over the 10 years, and I wanted to get the heart of the fact, over the 10 years, you and I were talking before the show, we said over the 10 years, you have been able to put funding together, and you guys are really stepping up to the plate, you know, for lack of a better term, trying to get people involved by doing what?
We're going to offer to pay the sponsorship fees, uniforms, and in some cases, the equipment for children on condition that the coaches and the players sit through a presentation by a certified licensed therapist, counselor on child abuse prevention. We may incorporate nutrition in there also, Jeff. But over the years, as president, I've been very austere. Our board serves without pay. And I've been very austere with the funds, and we've accumulated quite a bit of money, and we'd like to utilize it and like to give back to the community. We gain our funds through donations, fundraisers. We've got wonderful people fundraising for us.
We're talking thousands of dollars being put toward this. George, as you look at teams, you're involved with bowling, but I mean, we're talking more than that, correct?
Right. We're gonna soccer, youth, not adults. Soccer, baseball, the little kids into flag football. For instance, some of my bowlers, they do other sports. So we're gonna reach out, and it'll be great to sit up in the stands. You'll see these kids with the yellow tail shirt, the logo, and that's gonna bring up questions. What is the organization about? Or if an individual's having a problem, like for instance, at one of our fundraisers last year, a young lady, high school, they were bowling. She mentioned that her neighbor was being abused, and I gave her some information, numbers to call.
Yeah, branding and marketing is so important. Obviously, we've got these coloring books here, but as you hear, George touched on, Teresa, just the fact of having that logo sitting on a shirt, a uniform, that the message may not be apparent to these kids what they're wearing early on, but then it starts sinking in. And I mean, does that just filter out?
It filters out to the children, number one, that it's okay to tell, you know, and to educate them to know what kinds of secrets to keep, that there are safe secrets and secrets to tell. Like surprise parties and gifts are safe secrets. Telling secrets are things that you feel scared or uncomfortable with. And I think this book is very age appropriate for young kids, but it helps the parents become comfortable talking about it. And for the kids to feel comfortable trusting an adult to tell, but know the signs, because these folks who want to abuse our children are very good at knowing the vulnerabilities, especially of the youth. So it's age appropriate. You can get them online, and I think it's a great program for people to sit through. I think the coaches need to talk to our high school athletes about, you know, human trafficking. You know, all of these things play into child abuse, and our children are so vulnerable in Ohio because we've been ranked, you know, 9th in the nation for years, and we're not doing a good job of reporting. So this is, I think, one of the best organizations I've ever been involved with, and I've been on the board, and I think the message is so clear.
Well, we appreciate you making you getting here today to be with us for this conversation. When you look at, we were talking about it before we came out, obviously stories in the news tough to tell as a parent, as a grandparent. You're looking at these stories and you're saying, how do I guess fashion this Jerry Sandusky Penn State story so that my kid, when they see something in the paper, when they hear about something on TV, they can absorb it or they can understand that there's got to be some good that comes out of us talking to the kids. Has that been a challenge? And obviously, we have had you on here talking about the human trafficking issue, but even in just efforts like this, is it just a monumental task for parents right now to get that message out?
It is, because there's a stigma. People aren't comfortable talking about it. But now we have age-appropriate materials that are being developed. Teachers are becoming educated. There is curriculum for many different areas of child abuse that we have available. So now we need to go online, because it's easy to access a lot of information on the internet, and start talking about it and have kids talk about it. The more they become knowledgeable and comfortable, the safer they're going to be. We will protect them from being so vulnerable and being a victim. And that's the whole idea.
If I may interject.
Sure, yes.
Children need to have the tools to prevent their victimization. Yell and Tell endeavors to help those children acquire the tools. The parents need to know the red flags to watch out for with their child. They need to keep communication open. That child has got to feel comfortable going to mom and dad and saying, so-and-so touched me inappropriately. I'm scared. I've been threatened. Perpetrators are cunning. Many of them will groom the child. And if any parent thinks that his or her child is immune from being abused, they're wrong. Abuse happens at all social, economic, and educational levels. So please get that out of your head, that it'll never happen to me.
Yeah, knows no boundaries. George, go ahead. Yeah.
Point too that, you know, unfortunately, a lot of child abuse happens within the family. So if that's the case, another family member, you know, they should feel comfortable talking about it. First responders like the teachers, nurses, you know, that a child needs to know they need to go to someone who they feel comfortable telling. So if, you know, there are those cases as well.
Yeah. I want to point out real quick, if we show people at home, we blew up a graphic to show you something that is staggering to look at, to kind of digest. But that is the number of child deaths per day due to child abuse and neglect. And we are into the 5 million range here in this 2012, from 2012 statistics we're looking at. But you look at the increases over the years, and these are national numbers. I mean, it's just staggering to look at that. 5 a day, that's what we're looking at.
5 a day. And Lucas County, our area, has more than our share of deaths with our infants and our children. And that too is unacceptable.
So go ahead, George.
Go ahead.
Well, I think, and I'm going to upset some people, it's sad that you have to have organizations like ours.
Yep.
It's sad that when you watch our politicians, and I'm speaking with the president on down to the mayor to the council people, you don't hear them talk about it. They may touch on it. Like you said, you showed that graphic. On our flyer, our bowling tournament flyer, the electricians at the University of Toledo for the past 6 years, we put on a fundraiser for Yell and Tell. On the flyer, we have a stat at the bottom: 5 to 6 kids die every day in this country as a result of child abuse. So, with that being said, in Ohio, having the stats that we do, but it's not being addressed. I mean, we have too many powerful people. If more people did like Teresa, wow, wow. And she's one person. And just think where we would be if we didn't have her.
Are you just looking for them to champion a cause? Are you looking for them to back it with money, to put tax dollars? What are you suggesting?
Money, talk about it, get the word out. Laws, the laws. Some of the laws are too lenient. And Teresa could touch on this because we read a seminar last month about some things.
What were we going to say? You got fired up when I started bringing it up.
The reports that we're doing on the Human Trafficking Commission indicate from victims of, you know, the sex trade who were minors when, you know, they were being raped for money. You just buy rape. We just need to say this, but you know, they were first sexually abused a year before. They were worried about where they were going to eat, their shelter. They did very poorly in school right before this all happened. This was before sex trafficking. So we need to really deal with the statistics that are there. We have the hard data. We need to apply the public policy and principles of really going at this.
I'm going to take a break. So hold that thought. We're going to have to take a break, get in a commercial break real quick. We'll be right back. We'll continue this conversation on the other side right after this.